Hey everyone, my name is Austin. I'm a senior product designer at GitLab. Recording this video again because the audio didn't record the first time, so maybe that means I'll be a little more brief the second time. Alright, so I was out last Thursday. I was sick. We had Family and Friends Day, so cramming 2 weeks into one basically, week and a half. So first thing I want to touch on was we discussed how to address the shield icon that appears in GitLab. Long story short, decision is to keep the shield associated with the navigation item security and compliance. We are exploring some other options to replace it for areas where we see it appear now, like it shows up next to internal projects. We have some ideas running in a thread for how we can better make that more of a distinct icon. I also want to take a chance to really emphasize how important cross-stage collaboration is for our group. There definitely has been some rework that we've been going through to try and better refine some of the proposed work that impacts other areas. Especially as we continue to grow, we need to be cognizant of how we are impacting other stages and groups. So I'm thinking through some of the bigger things that we're hearing from customers, like just needing more administrative power to take advantage of all the different features in GitLab, and just considering how can we help that scale nicely in the product so that it still provides a great experience for those that don't use those administrative features, but use them at a project level rather than a group or instance level. Anyway, long story short, we're going to be doing some thinking about how we can better incorporate those other groups that we've been working with. Also wanted to show how that might play out. I was looking at the broader experience with Pedro and Mike around configuring protected branches and approval rules, and you got your code owners, and we're bringing in status checks, and these are really great bits of information to help keep safeguards in place, keep production safe from error-prone things reaching it. And that experience can be kind of confusing for users that are trying to set up all of these different configurations. So thinking big about how we can tie all that together into a more integrated experience will be something we're going to be looking into. Our community contribution's going pretty well. I've seen some awesome commits, and I've seen some really great feedback. Especially thank you, Aish, so much for jumping in and really helping refine this. I'm excited to see us wrap this up hopefully soon. You may have noticed, or may not have noticed, that I closed some older epics. This is not the epic that I'm trying to link to. I forgot to add an extra 9. So really, we had some research around two-person approvals. Didn't really test super well. It just added more confusion into the product. So we're going to be cognizant of that and be leery of where we might implement it. An area where we might still consider it would be for deleting a project. We have introduced delayed deletion. We really need to dig in more. Why is it necessary, or how can we better predict when an accidental project deletion might happen? I don't want to introduce unnecessary hurdles into GitLab, so if this needs to come back up, we'll figure it out. But for now, David Santo was calling out like, hey, if this is not the direction, we should go ahead and close these things. And so we did. I have a change that I'm trying to propose in Pajamas. I talked a little bit last week about how we're using the icon that's outlined in blue as opposed to all those other variations, but I also want to introduce some other patterns that I've seen kind of just adopted as an implied usage for the info icon versus a question icon. So think about it like this. If you're trying to expose details within the UI that aren't just directly there, consider using the info icon on a popover. So this is like helpful information that you might need to use to complete a task or dig for deeper information. But if you really are trying to direct users to docs or somewhere else in GitLab, consider using the help icon as it stands in for these hyperlinks that we're creating, which direct you directly to documentation or something else in the same tab, or a new tab, I should say. So we'll see if that goes through. It's still kind of working through the refinement. And I also want to say big congrats on this huge release. It was awesome to see Pipeline Compliance really headlining it. I'm super stoked to see all the amazing work that we've done. I have some quick wins that I can see us following up with. Like, I can already see some of our docs has been a bit of a challenge already for communicating how to set things up. So look out for a couple MRs from me next week to try and make that seem a little more seamless. With that, I'm going to go back to my weekend and look forward to talking to you all again soon.